Welcome back. Today we will continue again from where we stopped. Maybe I think it's better if I show you what we had from last week, and then we will plan what to cover today. Yeah, just I have to click over here and open on live server, and let's see. Maybe guys, if you haven't been here last week, this is what we have covered. As you can see now, this doesn't have much content, but still, as you can see, the footer is down. The same goes for the for the contacts for projects about, and the view home has different contents. So what are these actually? Why we made this? We were learning positioning in using HTML. You don't have to just put one after another. Using positioning, you can change the position of a certain element using CSS. Yeah. So as you can see, one is here, it's an absolute position, and everything here is an absolute position. So we have learned about fixed position, relative position, static position, sticky position, and an absolute position. So different kind of position. And also the index, as you can see, the orange is under this, the purple, and the purple is under the yellow. If we want, we can send the yellow under the purple, or we can send the purple under the orange. So we can change also the foreground and the background element for HTML element. So we can change the position where they are. Yeah, this is what we covered last week. Today, what are we going to cover today? So let's create, as usual, week 6. So today, I want to take a note. Notes.md, it's the note. So let's talk about Css Flexbox. This is a very modern CSS that allows you to create any kind of layout. It's so easy to use. And also we have to discuss about CSS units. CSS units. What are those? We have been talking about pixel. We have been talking about also percent, rem, em, and view height. View width and view height. These are a common kind of units. Even there might be even inch and or centimeter, millimeter, but it's not common. So let's just stick into this: pixel, percentage, rem, em, and view. What's this? View width, view. What was it? Yeah, view width and view height. Okay, great. So I think I prefer starting from this one and coming to the second. Okay. I want to create a new file and I call it index.html. Great. So as usual, in the lazy way, I just write HTML, and when I click over here, I can just get this, and let's do some box or some div, yeah? And then maybe we can apply some CSS, and for the time being, we can write the CSS just here. Yeah, maybe just to see, I can just run this, but as you can see, I was running another server, so I have to first kill the running server by clicking here. Yes, and then it will be aborted. So now let's run this one. Open live server, and I want to move it to the right, and then it will be easy for me. And this one to the left, and it will be easy to work on. We don't work on this. This is just a note file. We work on here. We have a div, but you don't see it. If you have a div, you can't see it because to see a div on your HTML document, you need to have maybe a border. For instance, if I say border 1 pixel, solid, and green, as you can see, something has been created, yeah, some border. But this div doesn't have any height. So give it a height. So then you will see it, maybe 10 pixel, for instance. Now you may see something, have you seen some dot? But as you can see, since div is a block element, so it's from the beginning to the end, it takes the full width of the document or the viewport. We call this the viewport. Yeah, but let's also limit the width. Okay, maybe we give it the width. 500 pixel, yeah. And the height, I want for 400 pixel. And I have to use comma. Yeah, so I made one box that is 500 in this side and 400 in this side. Okay, how about if I want to put two boxes that fit in this big box? Okay, so if I want, so I have to create div. Then if I multiply this by 2, I can create two boxes, as you can see, but I want these boxes inside. And instead of selecting by div, let's just give it a class or an ID. I can call this container, and then I can call it container. Okay. And then I can call these guys maybe items, or box, one box or another box, or I can call them items inside the container. Sometimes we may call them item, the item and this item, or yeah, it's a common kind of. Okay, then how much width the box should have to fit inside this big container? The big container is 500. Yeah, I can call box. The box should have also a border. Then we will see 2 pixels, more 1 pixel, I think. 1 pixel, solid. And I can say orange is so easy to see. Okay, have you seen both of them? And they feel, as you can see, they are fit inside the box, the big box. Okay, but I want them to have a height, so I want to divide these widths into equal parts. So 500 by 2, so I will say 150 pixel. And the height, and the height is actually 400, so I want to give them 400 pixel, yes. Yep, but as you can see, one of the boxes here, the other box went away from the parent container. So the display should be, do you remember display? What display should I have to give it? A line block. Yeah, the inline block should make it fit here, but as you can see, it didn't fit there. Maybe I will show you why, because there's no enough space there. Maybe I can just take a couple of pixels from this, 245 maybe. As you can see now, it fits there. The reason why it didn't fit actually because the borders are also taking some space. Okay, then if that's the case, let's remove all the borders. We don't need border here. Instead, we can have just a background. Okay, background. Maybe royal blue. Yes. And this one, I can call them instead a background orange. We don't need. And orange. And now instead, let's try 150. Still, we have a border here. Let's remove it. What is this? Solid gray. Okay. But still, as you can see, it's not yet fitted because it's really hard to fit in an equal thing because there is some gap. So to avoid that, some of the gaps might be coming from the browser. So let's try with this. Maybe if there's some extra padding, let's change it to 0. And if there's extra margin given by the browser, let's change that to 0 too. And even we didn't manage to take that away. How about box sizing border box? Even that is not helped us to fit that in here, but I was expecting now to be fitted there. Then let me see what we have. 250 and 200. If I just 248, it should fit. But the point is, I want that to be fitted with 250. Okay. Do you have any idea, guys, why this happens? I'm expecting. Then instead, how about if I just give it 50% of what I have? I still also have a problem. It didn't fit. Okay. What do you do when you have such a kind of a problem? You don't manage to fix such kind of a problem. And as you can see, I spent already some time. What shall I do? Yes, Stack Overflow, we have quite a lots of solutions on Stack Overflow. So fitting two boxes in a container, CSS. And then as you can see, Stack Overflow, the first comes in Stack Overflow. And then this person just asked a question and he wants to fit them. And we have to come and check the alternative solutions. And even it gives you a kind of an example. For instance, as you can see, he managed to fit a kind of four, I think three, 1, 2, 3, kind of 9 boxes. Of course, the approach is a bit different, but still, let's have a look. Yeah, his question. We have another. How to put two divs, only two divs. In this case, we have three divs, and but this looks good. That's not what I want to achieve. What I want to achieve is two equal divs. And they also solved it with box, but we have the same. Of course, we can call this item 1, and we can call this item 2 later if we want to also apply different style, but that's not. As you can see, they just used float left and right. Let's try with that, float left and right. So we have item 1 and item 2. Item 1 will be floating to the left. And of course, I have to select it. And now actually it just fitted the right way. And item 2 has to be floated to the right. In that case, even I don't have to use the display this here inline block, okay? I don't have to use that. Even this code, even 50% width, 50%. I need the width 50%. I need the height also. What did I remove by mistake? Yeah, I removed the background. But how about if I apply some border? 5 pixel solid, some kind of a purple or something, or maybe black. Yeah, still we managed to, as you can see, it fitted. So now I used percentage, as you can see. The container has absolute size, that's 500. But when I'm saying this, the box width is actually 50%. That means 50% of 500, and that is 250. How do we know? Let's check. You can right click, inspect. When you inspect, actually you see the code what we wrote. This is the code what we wrote, right? And if you want to see the CSS part, you can see it here. This is what we wrote. For instance, for the container, and this is for the universal selector. Yes, this is what we wrote. Another thing, actually computed, the computed size. For instance, if you go for, we're interested, so I can just click on this box. If we check, I'm looking for, as you can see, width 250 pixel. Yeah. So it has been calculated based on the parent widths. So whenever there is a child, and when you give percentage, it takes actually the percentage of the container, the percentage of the container. Can we feed some kind of an image, for instance, image, some kind of image in here. For instance, if I have a cat image, yeah, the way I wrote was not really good. Very curious and a very good cat that is protecting herself from corona. Let's take this URL. We can take URL, right, to show an image. Okay, I think I want to put it back. Then I may write it here, for instance, inside box 1, image, see, and then I put that link, alt, I can call it a cat, and let's close it. Yeah, I was expecting a cat, but it didn't show up. So I should have clicked this and yeah, there's a cat there. Actually, now, how can we make also the cat responsible? I mean, responsive. That means sometimes the image responsive, it's better to say the image responsive. Weeds, for instance, 100%. We don't like the cat to be really bigger, and we don't like it also to be smaller than the original. So actually, a minimum weeds, we want it to be 100%, and the maximum weeds 100%. So we are keeping this size of the image actually all the time, and display solid. And I think actually sometimes, for instance, how to make an image responsive. Yes, there's already on W3 School a very good code which I have seen before and used. Yes. Yeah, maximum width, and very good thing, height auto. Actually, if you don't use the height, the browser will adjust the height auto by itself, and you don't have to. Don't touch the height. When you touch the height, that's a kind of a disaster. Yeah, the height of the image. Now, it's not just bad, it's just good, as you can see, but once if you touch the height, that would be very bad. Okay, but sometimes your device might be small, you know. Let's see, for instance, have you seen the image is getting smaller, right? Based on the size, the device size, it's getting smaller. Yeah, because width, yeah, the width is 100%, and the maximum width it has to be is actually even it's limited 400 pixel. So as you can see now, it's not big enough. It's just the maximum it can get is actually 400 pixel. Even let's remove that and see. Yeah, yes, this width actually is important. Yeah. So this actually, this 100% and is 100% of the external, the container or the parent all the time. When we say 100% of something is relative to something. So that's the purpose of percentage. So remember, whenever you are using a percentage, it's full of calculation. For instance, if we are dividing this div to 3 or 4, we will keep dividing. So today, actually, I will show you something that is much better than this percentage. Of course, there are quite a lot of cases you have to use percentage. But whenever you use a percentage, there's some little calculation. Yeah, because you divide something, you divide the area with some number. Yeah, so you use percentage. The difference between percentage is relative to the parent, but when we use a pixel, it's an absolute. It's an absolute value. If we say 400, it's 400. But if we say some 100% of what is 100% of what? 100% of 1,000 or 100% of 500 or 100% of 200. So all the time it's relative. Okay, yeah, that is actually about percent. So first, all elements that are child, they take the parent dimension. Yeah, so I think this link is too big and I don't need to have a cat all the time here. So I may really remove and get this. Such a huge link. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, good. No cat. No cat. Good. It's better with no cat. Now let's talk about view height. Well, what is view height and view width actually? I may tell you. Okay. When we say view, or I think viewport, this the one that the area we say is actually a viewport, and this the width, and this is the height. Yeah, this is the width, and this is the height. So whenever we say view height, okay, which is the view? The view is actually this, and the height is this, and the width is this. And how do we write it? Okay, in that, let's work on the just on the body maybe, or a wrapper. I can just create here the container. Okay. If I want the container, we don't need also image here, and we don't need all this, and we just need the container to have. And the style has been removed. Okay. And let's just put the other side. Then it's the container. As you can see, I want to have, for instance, the container to take the whole page. Okay, the whole the whole page. Then maybe I think we can remove the background. The background is something we like. Instead, I can just give it a view, the weights. I can take it, give it 100%. Just 100%. Of course, it's 100% even by default. How about the height? I think that this would be a bit difficult for you to see the difference between this and I prefer the previous can show you that both. Yeah, I can just keep this example. Okay, and now let's change this to a viewport. Okay, instead of 500, so let's put it 500 view widths. Because just from here to here is 100. So this will be is about 50 kind of view widths. Yeah, as you can see. So view widths, maybe you can write here. 100% means the whole, right? Yeah, it means the whole thing. Yeah, if we say 100% of something, that means the whole thing. What does that 100 view widths means? This means also the whole width. Okay, then what does that mean? For instance, 10 view width means is actually 10%. 10%. Yeah, that is something like that. Okay, so now as you can see, 50 view width means half of the page. And now let's change the height. I want this also to, but we can keep that like that. How about if we want this width instead of 50, how about if we change it to 25 width? Yeah, have you seen? I just divide this into 25, and it's fitted. I think by now you have noticed the difference between view width and percentage. This is almost, it's absolute again. It's an absolute, but it's a different way of representation, an absolute value or an absolute measure. Okay, how about, I think the good thing actually of view height, whenever we want to stretch the whole body, we use, for instance, if I apply a view height 100% view height. Yeah, it went all the way down. Yes, maybe I may also interested to change this to 100% view height. And maybe I want to do some something, and then I may not interested in those two things, but for some reason this is not actually. Let's see why. Because I was expecting a container. We don't need this anymore of the left and right, but we have div. It's surprising. Oh, view width. Yeah, because I put it edge. Yeah. So this is what I was expecting, guys, as you can see, because I want to, for instance, if I want to develop a website that has a name, just something that has, I am a developer based in Helsinki, yeah? And then maybe in the second, I may write just, I teach HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, something like that. Let's add some content. Okay, now, but as you can see, have you seen this? Maybe you do not really like this. So let's remove this. How do we remove that? I think we call it overflow. So we can remove the overflow in two ways. We can write here HTML and even the body overflow X, I think hidden. So that, yeah, no, as you can see, there is no thing. Yeah, but still in a state of the container, actually, this one instead of the container, this I prefer to put this inside the body. The body. Now, as you can see, there is no that gap over there. And maybe for the time being, we don't need this formatting. Yeah, this is not working. I can comment it like this. I can comment it like this. As you can see, it's lifted at, it's, yeah, lifted at the top. But just to see the border of the body, maybe I think where I'm heading, I may also show you. I have a sample which I have already done for previous students. Do you see a tiny, yeah, this is where we are heading to. Yeah, this is where we are heading to. Have you seen? Just you have some takers, and this is what we are going to develop. Yeah. So it may be in the meantime, we can also take the image. Okay, copy. And where are we? We have lots of files here. Yes. Okay, so we will bring that here later, but for some reason I didn't understand why it, it went to the other page. And let me just put, where is this? Yeah, we don't need this for the time being. We just need this. Why it went there? The container, yeah, because the container is now not, yeah, we can also put the container in a full. Okay, we can say view height or height 100. And then it go all the way, it covers all the way down for you. And then I have these two guys, and then maybe we can use display flex. So maybe for the timing that would be very complicated. We will come later. Just we can put this instead of a div. We can just h2, and then it will be easy how. Okay. And this one just in a P, and then it will be so easy. And then we can put all together in a div, another div, something like that, and it will be last name box, and it will be easy for us. And we don't have any image for the time being, but we may have, and we want this box to be box text align center, right? Yeah, it's going at the center. How about vertically? We may need it to be at the center vertically also. Maybe line height, maybe 100%. Okay. But we have in one, and as you can see, it's everywhere. How do we? Yeah, because we can limit the size of this, the box, the size of the box, the line height. So the size of the box, I mean the height. I want the height of the box will be about 300 pixels. Yes. Seems important. Yes. Okay. If it's too much, maybe about. So this is overriding. The line height's overriding the height. So it was a kind of, let me use something 50%. That's not moving. Maybe then I have to use margin. Just I can use margin top. If I just push it by 25% down, but surprisingly, why this is moving? Okay. Oh. Because we want only, let me just give it a border. The border is good to see where we are. 2 pixels, solid, orange. Okay, let's give it some height. The height's really too little. Maybe it's 100 pixel. Yes. But why I can remove this margin for the time being? You guys, the plan is just to move this area down a bit, and let's just also give it different color, background color for the time being. Some salmon, some kind of, and of course, another alternative, we can make this relative, guys. Do you remember position relative? We can make position relative. I will explain for others, for new position relative. But whenever you make something position relative, that means anything in that HTML element in that box can move. So now the blue is like a C and it allows other elements to move. And now box actually top, I can say top maybe 25%. Let me see. But why only the text? I'm just. Oh yeah, I forgot to give the position this. Who can tell me? Absolute. This should be absolute. Choose absolute first. Have you seen now? It start moving. Yeah, great. But I have to also change the weights to 100% because once if you give it a, yeah, now I can move it. Maybe even I can give it percentage, maybe 25%, that it will be somehow like this. The reason why we chose this is actually for the color is just to make it visible. Yeah, now let's show that background color. How do we, a background image, how do we put a background image? We just go to the CSS. Actually, our CSS is here, and let's make it part of the body actually. Background image, and then we can say URL, and then we locate the image. We have this image. Since we have background color, it might be difficult to see the image, as you can see. Okay. Yeah, we have some background, but whenever we use a background image, I want to tell you there are something you should consider: background image CSS. I usually also forget, so I have to refer you Canada background image, the image source, if you want to add some color. But there's another property. You can add quite a lot of properties. For instance, now it's repeating. I can see that. Do you see here? Do you see a lamp over here, lamp over here? But we want this image to be one and to stretched in that. So this background size cover will help us to make it fit. I think still it is fit, but as you can see, still I can see to computer, kind of. I don't believe this is not, this screen can reach here. No, it's small. So we have to stop also the repeat, yeah? Background repeat, no repeat. We can make use of that and stop the repeating part. Okay, I can remove this color and it will be fine. This, if I just change it, by the way, guys, it's good also learn adding opacity. As you can see now, I add a, and I can just change the transparency by adding from 0 to 1. For instance, if I put something like this, it will be very transparent. Actually, we have trashed it already, so this is what we want. This one is actually something else, and maybe we don't also need the border. As you can see, it doesn't really look the border, so we can remove the border. But this actually background make it look somehow okay, not bad. So yeah, that's too much, but we can keep it 1.5. So opacity usually starts from 0 to 1. Yeah, now you can add whatever CSS you want. So yeah, this is what I was thinking to show you, and let's see if no, this is not what. Where is it? Tiny portfolio. Yes, the tiny portfolio, as you can see, it stretches, and also this has some, yeah, we can apply that. As you can see, it seems this is a list. Yeah, this is just a list. So you have to change it to a list, and then you have to change HTML. Oh no, I can actually write. Why? I can write maybe 5 of them at once. And CSS, JavaScript, and React, and Python whatsoever. Yeah, for instance, if I want to say, I teach the following technologies. So maybe if you see now, we have to refresh it, something like that. Yeah, but as you can see, there is also some kind of that our border, this the div we created, so it should have a padding. So let's add a padding. Padding is good. It adds some padding top and bottom. I will add 15 pixel, and in the other side just 0. I'm fine in the other two sides. Yep, as you can see, it looks good, but now this has to be somehow listed somewhere else. Then I can say class skills. Yeah. Then dot skills dot list display display inline block, and I can add margin margin left 50 pixel, just in the actually in the left or right. It needs, yeah, it's a kind of, as you can see now, and that's not enough yet because I want this to have padding also, padding or margin. I can say margin. Maybe I like to add 30 pixel up and bottom, or top and bottom, and auto the left and right will be adjusted by itself, as you can see. And now you can just I think left or right. I want to add from right side. Yeah, and you can apply whatever you want, and then to the list you can make maybe font size to make it a bit bigger, 32 pixel if you want. Oh yeah, it's too bigger than the other text, but for the time being we are not doing much, and maybe if it's also too close, actually we can push it a bit, because as you remember we pushed it to 25%, 15% seems enough for us. Yeah, that there is some kind of developer, or maybe instead you can write your name, then oh yeah, full stack. Okay, good. So after this, it's all about fonts. Yeah, do you remember we have been just using different fonts? Maybe if we go here, I think we can get this the Google font and font awesome also. That will help us to add different. So I have to make use of already what I have here, right? You don't have to go to Google all the time if you have once what you need. Yes, so I call this a very tiny portfolio, And then maybe the font for font family, I can say Montserrat, or there are lots of good fonts, or maybe Railway is also good, Railway, something like that. Yeah, so, but specifically, you can also change this by the way, and we want text transform uppercase. That means I want this to be in uppercase, all of them. Yeah, good, guys. This is good enough for the first session. Do you have any question before we have a break?
No.
Maybe just to add more, as you can see, this has some weight. You can also add some weight. Weight means to make it bolder. Font weight, you can say, for instance, 600. It will be somehow bolder. Yeah, or if you want to be thinner, you can just give it about 300 or 100 and it will be thin. Now, I think since it's a skill, we want to be seen bolder, and I want it to, for the time being, something like this. And it seems there's also this one, and this is too tight, and maybe it's good to add for H1 or H2, we can add some margin. I can add the margin maybe 10 pixel in all direction, and it will be good. And I think I have to refresh it. Yeah, that's good enough for now. See you after 15 minutes. Yeah, let's have a break.
See you.
Welcome back, everybody. So from the first session, we developed something like this. You can add some navigation on the top, and you can change this to a portfolio, just a simple portfolio. This would be something than nothing. So you can just get started from the boilerplate code we create. Yeah, so I may just change this to a different folder. So I call this folder actually tiny portfolio. And I want, where did I create this folder? In the wrong? Yeah, I can just take it down, no problem. And I want to move everything we have here there, this one there, and this one there. Yeah, so the here also it's good to structure assets. I will put the image here, and inside the assets also I'll create another folder, maybe CSS, and inside the CSS I will create styles.css, and I will take all the code, the CSS code I have here, and maybe it's better to say link. I can just write link, assets, CSS, and styles. And I have to paste the code. I copied it from there. We don't need the style, this tag. We do not need this part. Yeah, and also in the assets, it's good to create another folder, images, because you never know, you may have plenty of images. Then I have to also then adjust the path of the image. Where do we get this image? So I have to go out one step. So dot means going out from this, and then we have to go to the image folder, and then we have to grab this. I think let's see if it's still working. Of course, we have to stop this and run this. Sorry. Yeah, still working. Still working. So if you want to continue on this project as a portfolio, you just make use of this folder. Yeah. Okay, then I will leave that there. What do we learn next? We talked about pixel, we talked about rem, percentage, and we talked about view width and view height. And let's talk about this rem and the em actually. Rem is actually relative, I'm not sure what EM stands for, but this R is a relative. I will show you how we use it. Okay. I will go to the styles. For instance, if I have, I can say here in the HTML, and I may say font size is 60 pixel. Okay, then if I say I may have for H2, as you can see, H2, if I say font size is equal to 1 rem. You see, So do you see font size? I just declared it here at the top. What's the font size for all the HTML? So it's actually 16. Then if I say 1 rem means 16 pixel. Let's see. As you can see, it's small now. And even to check if it's really 16 pixel, you can go, you open it. And again, as you can see, when I click it, it's active now. And then click again. Then now I have this H2, but you may not see the H2. Click on computed. Yeah, on the computed, when you go all the way down, you may see the font size. Have you seen? This is actually the font size of the H2, the computed. When you see it here, it's 1 rem, but when you go and check the font size, it's 16 pixel. Yep. Now, for instance, if the best way to put this one is actually 10 pixel because it's easy to calculate. Now, if you put 10 pixel and if you say this one 1.5 run, actually this means 15 pixel. And if you want, if you say, for instance, 2 run means 20 pixel. Yeah, this is 20 pixel. And if you say this, for instance, 2.5, I can say 25 pixel. So that's run actually. As you can see, let me just comment out that it's a price. Yeah, because since the font size of the HTML is now, it's not anymore the default, but it is 10. And now, as you can see, this is really small. But this one is not small because we gave it already a value. So the value, the font size override the HTML font size. But if we don't have this, it will be small also. Let me show you. Have you seen it? Yes, it's so tiny. Yeah, so the value we declared here, font size, is actually all of them because this is the parent of all HTML elements. It's the parent for all HTML elements. Then that's rem actually. So rem should be from the HTML element. Then what's rem? Okay, I will show you. Do we have any kind of div here? Actually, we have divs. Let me see. We have this div. And actually, now we have the box. Let's focus on the box only. Okay. If I say font size, font size is equal to 10, for instance, 25 pixel. Yeah, I'm just targeting the box. The box means this one. Then maybe I can make it a bit brighter and you will have a chance to see it again. 3. Yeah, I'm talking about this one. Now, actually, we can use this. If I say, for instance, border 5 pixel. No, instead of 5 pixel, I can say 1 rem, not rem, em, solid green. By the way, now, do you know what I'm giving here? Do you know the size? Actually, 1 em refers to this size. So it's going to be 25 pixel and it will be really big. Have you seen it? Yes. Maybe I can make it just a bit. It's really green. It doesn't look good. Yeah. So just let's see if this 25 pixel. You see the border, yeah, it says 1 rem, but it's hard to know. Let's make this active, and then let's go the computed border. I can see, of course, border usually puts in the border top, border down, top, something like that. As you can see, it's 25 pixel. Yeah, 25 pixel, 25 pixel, 25 pixel. So it just to show you, maybe run versus em w3 school, just say 70. That's a very good. Forget about this centimeter and whatever. If you see rem relative to the font size of the root element, as I told you, this one. But when we talk about em relative to the font size of the element, itself, the font size of the element itself. So now I am talking about this div. So any font size of this div can be used for anything else, for border, for margin. So it's different kind of unit. But guys, this rem and em might be a bit complicated to understand the first time. You don't have to really worry that much. If you know how to use pixel and percentage, that's good enough. And step by step, through time, you will understand it. That's but this is really good. I can share with you this advertisement are so crazy. I don't know what they are promoting, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's go to the most important part. Where are we here? I think it's here. Why? Because yeah, it's broken already a long time ago. I think this must be the one where, yes. And as I told you, sometimes the the opacity is really good to change the transparency of the page, for instance, 0.5, and it gives it some kind of a light color. And even you can get it a bit, for instance, 3, and it will be somehow good. Yeah, so this transparency kind of a color is very good sometimes whenever you like to change something. And even I can just get this also 15, and this will be also 15, and it will match somehow, like, yeah. But why is that? I think I make it bigger by mistake. What's that mean? Okay, anyway, yes. But how about if we don't have even any border at all? We don't have to have a border at all. We'll just use this to just give you an example. Sometimes when it doesn't have any border, it looks much better, as you can see. Yeah, I think you can keep working on this, and maybe I can also put this one 16. The default, yeah, the default is actually 16, and from the default 2.5, it will be really big, but it's okay. Yeah, it seems now ready for deployment. You can deploy this, and you will have a tiny portfolio. And when you learn JavaScript, you add on top of that. And when you learn React and you add on top of that, and at some point it will be a resource full or resource rich portfolio or website. Yeah. Okay, great. Maybe if you want to, for instance, separate this from among the others, I can add some kind of span. Yeah, span is very powerful. So no one just pay attention. So if I can use the span to make that look, or maybe span font size even bigger, 20.75 rem, and it will be a bit bigger. No, I was expecting much bigger. Maybe let's go 3. Do you see a difference in that? Yeah, maybe let's add 3.5. Yeah, I think I have noticed the difference, but you may not. And then you may add a color of this, actually orange or purple. And instead of a purple, maybe I can go all the way. Yes. Yes. Something like that. And definitely this was big. And maybe we can just color green. So it's going to be actually very and green. It's very tough to look at the green because it's on white background. Of course, you can add a background if you want, and a background color orange, and you can make that. No, but it doesn't really good. So even you can still add a transparent. Yeah. No, not there. So first we have to change this to RGB. RGB, then we can add transparent, and the transparent makes it look somehow better. Yeah, it's getting much better. But even you can make it even lighter. Yes, maybe if this was like changing, for instance, you can add JavaScript and this can keep changing, you know. I'm just a motivator, a programmer, a full stack developer, an instructor. So this continuously changes. So that's possible with JavaScript. And I think we can just leave at this point, and you will have something to work on it, right? Yes, it will be something that you can work on it. Yeah, great. Okay, now let's move on to another part. I think that's going to be Css Flexbox. And for that, I shared with you this the W3 scope Css Flexbox, and it's really great. This. Okay, I think I have to create a separate a project for that, because maybe I think we can just make use of the same thing, the same tiny portfolio, but with a Flexbox. Yeah, we can create CSS Flexbox project. Okay, I call it then. Let's create index.html, index HTML this, and you can call this Flexbox. Why we call it Flexbox? Actually, to learn Flexbox, I will give you also this Flexbox Froggy. Someone developed this, and it's really good for learning Flexbox. Yeah. So as you can see, I will share with you Flexbox. How you learn it has about 24 point. So, hey, display. The point is actually to display this. You have to read welcome to Flexbox, then flex start, flex end, center, space. So now this is just flex, and it's flex by default flex start. So you may say flex flex no, justify content flex end. Yeah, as you can see, the frog went to the other side because this side is flex start. Okay, then you go to the second part. Now the point is actually to move this frog to the yellow and this one to the green. So you have to actually, I believe this is justify content center. Justify content center. Have you seen? They are so happy now. It seems for me justify content kind of. Let's try it. Justify content space between. No, it's not. Then it's around, space around. Yeah, great. As you can see, space around means there is a space, there's space, there's space. If it was space between, it will be different. I think now it will be somehow. Yeah, now as you can see, a space space between. There is no space in the last elements, but there is space in between the elements. So we call that justify content space between. Yeah, as you can see. Then just you can move on, you can work on. I will share with you this, but not now, after the lesson. But today I will show you how Flexbox works. Flexbox. There will be lots of no Flexbox. I prefer to use this. Okay, whenever we talk about Flexbox all the time, we should think horizontally and vertically. And I think it would be nice if I just start creating something. Do you see this div? Not actually, it's a div, it's a kind of a. So do you see a div this? Yes. Let's give it a name, class container, or whatever you can call it. Yeah, so now the container here is actually the purple background is the container. And I am interested to create div dot item, and I want to create maybe 3 for the time being. Yeah, item 1, item 2, and item 3. And let's have this style also here. I think it's good to put this in the other side. And we didn't run this yet, so I have to run it. Yeah, I have this, as you can see. Now it's good to have background, right? When it has a background, we will have a chance to see. Give me just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Let's give a background color for the container. container, we can say background color. Maybe light blue is good. Yes. Then as you can see, the items are aligned naturally, block one after another. So we can say, hey, display flex. Oh, have you seen them? This is what we did. So actually justify content now is actually by default a flex start. Yeah, that means this one. Everything is on the left side. So we can change it to be on the right side. So we can say justify content flex end. As you can see, it moves the other side. Okay. But since it's better to give it some height for the container and it's just to look good, you know, height. Let's just give it some height, maybe about 400 pixel, and we have a chance. And let's also create them. Those we can select the items dot item. The item could be, we can give it a width. I can give them, for instance, 100 pixel. And the height, maybe 80 pixel. And maybe a background. If you don't have a background, color some purple, and it will be easy to see those. And now there should be a gap between, so there should be a margin in any direction. Let me just give them maybe 10 pixel. Yeah, as you can see, these guys they don't have a margin and they are like this. Maybe, yes. Now, if I want this to be aligned center, actually justify content instead of flex end, I can call them center. Now they are at the center. Maybe I can just say, what was the other? Actually, flex space around. Yeah, as you can see, there should be space around between the items. And then maybe we can also say space between. The space between is hard to know because of this. If I remove this, it might be easy for you to know. Yeah, have you seen now? There is a space between them. Because there is no margin. This margin has been created by the justify content. Yeah. Can we change the direction? The thing is, now as you can see, justify even this display flex, as you can see, it's a row. Now we can change it to a column actually. You can say flex direction. We can say, if you say row, it doesn't change because by default it's a row, but you can say column. Yeah. Now again, we can change the alignment. How about if justify content say center? If we say center, yeah, it moves actually to the center, but there is no this. Let's add some margin. This margin is actually really good for us to see what's happening there. Maybe 5 pixels is enough. Yeah, so it's to the center. But there is something we didn't see. Align items center. Have you seen the align items help us to move it vertically? Have you seen? To move it like this. This is very important. So all the other all the other properties, what we have been using, helped us to move something horizontally. But now actually our flex direction is also a column. So you should think that way. So what does that flex start? Flex start should be here, right? Should be here. Yeah, so flex n should be the other end because it's column, yeah? So center, yes, button, but if we want to put this at the middle, we have to say just a line item, line items, and the center. Great. But sometimes we may have quite a lot of items. For instance, we may have, let me show you an example. I will show you. I can just close this, very important. We don't need that anymore. And let's just also close this. And the cat is not also important anymore. That's wrong. But let's continue here. How about the countries API? Look at these countries. Actually, these countries are flexes. As you can see, you can consider this as a div or one item. So the gray area is actually the flex box or the container. These are the flex items. Yeah, all of them, like about 250 of them together. You can see the 250 over here. Yeah, so now I will show you how can we make something like this. Okay. You never know how many countries you have. Now div, I can just multiply this div.item, and I will multiply it maybe 50 times. As you can see now, I have 50 items. And of course, I may change it also. But we don't have to have value in the items. Yeah, let's see. And now how it looks like. Now, I think, oh, where are my items? Okay, let's see. Item. Yeah, of course, we didn't have any value, but at least we should see the purple background. Where are they? Let's add some border 5 pixel solid red. Yeah, sometimes when I don't see, oh yeah, for some reason the items are here. Okay, yeah, for some reason, as you can see, because sorry, my item, we have width. The width is actually okay, but the height is too little, and even we can make this about 150 pixel. And sorry, what's happening there? And 100 pixel. Yeah, but whatever amount of pixel I'm giving, because this space is not enough, it has been shrinked. as you can see. So what I should do is actually not flex direction. I can just remove the flex direction. Okay. So it's, and I don't like this also, the align items center. And even I don't need the justify content center, and it can start from there. So, but as you can see, the space is so tight. Yeah. So the space is not enough, and this is not anymore 150. So the best way is actually what we can do. There is wrap, flex, wrap, and we can say wrap. Oh yeah, as you can see, now it looks good, but still our content is quite a lot. Maybe what we can do, we can just do this minimum height. The minimum height we have is here 40, but the rest we can just leave it. And now, as you can see, we have about, yeah, this guys, this, what is this? Boxes, they are just made almost for free. They're cheap. So yeah, because we use this Flexbox, and we can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, just to keep some of them. And 20, I think I can just remove the rest. Okay. Great. Yeah, as you can see, how about if we want to also this text, I mean, the number at the center, first we have to make the number bigger, font size very big font, because that's the only content we have, 40 pixel, and the color white. And I'm not sure if we need any kind of background, I mean, border here. Yeah, actually we can like text align center to make it horizontally center. As you can see now, it's somehow a center, but how can we make like vertically center? So we've been using this, right? Making the line height and the height the same. Like line height 100 pixel, just fix it to be at the center, as you can see. Yeah. And maybe if you want to add some border radius, border radius, you can add something like this. Yeah. Okay, good. So now, what did we learn so far? I think it's good to just recap. Here we learn flex, display, flex. Okay, and then we learned that the flex direction could be row or column. Yeah, we saw that. And actually, when we don't have enough space horizontally, we can wrap it. As you can see, it goes up to 8 and then come up to 9. For instance, if I increase the size of the item, for instance, if I just put it to 100, look at it, it was cut at 6. Yeah. And if I just keep increasing this, like 300, for instance, I will have, yeah, something like this. Okay, but now as you can see, we didn't change the distribution. Still, you can change the distribution. How do you change the distribution? By saying justify content space, for instance, around I prefer. So as you can see, it's a space around and every space has been taken. Yeah. So this looks like something you may, maybe if you add also, maybe just we can reduce the widths and let's make it look much better. The width is too much. How about if we use just about 250? Looks good and still too much. Yes, and the height could be 150. And if the height's 150, and this should be 150. Yeah, because as I told you, it's a space a between, so this also finally will become like this. Yeah, so maybe you can also try another instead of space evenly. By the way, these are reserved words, so space evenly, space between. Yeah, this space between, it's really like, so these guys, they all took a space between, and finally we left with 2 items, and then as you can see, they have space between. Yes, big space between. That's a very good example. Even actually this, now by default, the flex direction is, as I told you, the flex direction by default is actually row. Yeah, but if you want, you can change to row into column, as I showed you before. Yeah, it has, we change the, and even column reverse. What does that mean, column reverse? As you can see, instead of 1, it's starting from 20. Can we also do the same for row? Yes, actually, row. Yeah, for what purpose do we need this? Yeah, there might be cases you need. As you can see now, yeah, it's a flex wrap. So it's a wrap, instead of starting from 1, it starts from 6. Instead of starting from 7, yeah, as you can see. So it has been a kind of transpose. Great. But another way of also aligning this, instead of just putting this line height and text, you can just say, you may say justify content center. But we have to also write display here again, flex. Yeah, and then align items center. Yeah, we put it like that, as you can see. Another way of doing the same thing. So this is very modern. Lots of companies are using it. I think what I would recommend you, W3 School, Flexbox, and go through step by step. And it's really so easy to understand. Now, for instance, here, you can just see what's here. Actually, what they change is just only the flex. If you remove this, this is what you get. But because of the flex, you got this. And even as you can see, no wrap. But if we remove the wrap, we will have a chance to get that. And we have, for instance, let's just make it 3. Yeah, now this is flex even let's just remove. Now, if I just justify content flex end, you will see it will be at the end. Yeah. And if you just change this to center, yeah, this is what we've been checking. And there's for each section, as you can see now, this is flex start, flex direction, flex wrap, and flex flow. Flex flow is actually a shortcut for row and wrap together. So it's just I justify content. Just yeah, I would recommend to go this step by step. Most of the properties I have talked about are here for. So I would recommend you to go through this, and maybe even you can start developing your portfolio using Flexbox, because Flexbox is so easy to use. Yeah, then maybe I can just show you something by applying the Flexbox. We can have a copy of this. Yeah, and we can add this portfolio flex. Yeah, was it hard? Is there anything opened? I thought nothing is open. So let me just stop everything running. Yeah, good. We managed to change it. Now let's run this all over again and do some changes with Flexbox because it's so easy. Okay, to change to Flexbox. Yeah, this is what we had, we did. And now, for instance, what we can do. Yeah, of course, our CSS is, yeah, first we have to see the structure. So we may consider, for instance, this as in a container, Flexbox container. So Flexbox container should have an item, yeah? For instance, I have this should be flex container. This should be a flex container. This should be a flex container. So it's easy for us to have. So remember how many containers we have: the parent, the container, the wrapper, and the box, and also this one. Let's, for instance, you make use of the skills as in a flex. Okay, it's the skills. Okay, then even we don't really need any kind of a margin. Now I want this to be. Then I say display flex. Good. Then justify content space betune. That's good enough. And then let's see how it looks. Yep, as you can see, it looks like, but as you can see, the HTML is really hidden. So instead of space between, actually, space around can save that, can remove that problem. As you can see now, you can see, because it's space around, it's not space between. And for some reason, the background there is unknown. So we may remove such a kind of a background. We just put it there for to see how it looks. And maybe another, where can we apply it again? Okay, is there anywhere we want to apply? Skills. Maybe let's apply some background for skills, some role background, and we will just change later and text, no, color white. And of course, as you can see, padding, it's good to add padding if you have a background, then maybe you can just add 10 pixel. And it's not only padding, now it looks like it needs also a kind of margin. So I have tried a margin from top to bottom, for instance, 10 top and bottom, and auto, just the auto is, yeah, maybe as you can see, somehow this is a bit short and it doesn't look good. Maybe it would be nice if all would have a kind of equal width, maybe like 150 pixel, kind of. But so now we have to limit the font size because the font size is really too big somewhere. I remember, where was it? Do you see font size here? Now, of course, we can write explicitly font size, and then we can say 22 pixel is good enough. And as you can see now, and we can add box border radius, maybe 3 or 5 pixel, something like this, or and that doesn't really good. Sharp, it seems good, but we can add box shadow, by the way. Box shadow, let me show you how a box shadow works. It's for instance, if I say 5 pixel, it's better just 0 pixel, 0 pixel, and just some pixel, 5 pixels solid. And so that changes the rate. Let me show you. As you can see, you see some border, right, in all direction. But because the offset is 0, offset, left offset, and let me add some offset now, 5 pixel offset. As you can see, offset to the horizontal offset, as you can see, this has been pushed to the, yeah, have you seen? So this horizontal offset. Now this one give vertical offset. Let me show you. If I give 10 pixel, just it goes down. So as you can see, we are creating a kind of a background. Yeah. Yeah, for instance, that's strange color, but if this color is some kind of a black or something, it looks like a background shadow. It looks like a shadow. Have you seen? It looks like a shadow, right? Yeah, then now you clearly see it's a black. So to add some radiation, to make that, if you increase this 50 pixel, that means we are actually expanding it. So we expand it too much that now we don't see the black that much. Yeah. Then how about if we add another 10 pixel here? Yeah, so this one is actually Yeah, you can see it, it's stretched, it's radiate. It's radiate, so you see it, so it's really too much. So it's better to make it a bit like a couple of 3 pixels. And this is also too much, 5 pixels something. Yeah, no, this really still dark, you can see, so it's better to make this. So this dilute, I call it a dilution, I call it. So instead of black, when you increase this value, it will dilute that, or it just make it look brighter instead, because it's stretched somehow. So for instance, if I change it to 50, yeah, it's not anymore, but actually the color is not a very good color, so I can just go a bit to the whiter side also. Yeah, that's how you add. But if you want also something you want to be like really visible, for instance, I can make yeah, so now what? No, we don't need all this. 5, and I thought it's maybe something like this. Yes. As you can see, the offset is too much, so we remove this 10. Instead, just 1 is enough, and this is 1 offset is enough in all direction. But the 1 offset is not really good enough, so I think let's add kind of 3 offset, and maybe the other side is also some kind of a 3. Now, and this is also too much. Maybe I can just reduce it to 2, or maybe even. And now you can also yeah, that makes it. Yeah, so as you can see now, this is actually a kind of an overlap. Yeah. So we learn CSS box shadow also. Yeah. So look, this looks like on top of another, and you can also change it to a kind of a box shadow. So even you don't have to really CSS box shadow, you just search and you can really get good best. Someone already made a different box shadow and you can make use of them. Yeah, and let's see a very good box shadow. Not really so far. Yes, as you can see, these are very good. Yeah, very good box shadow. Look at them, different box shadow. So what you should do is actually just take the code and apply, and it looks good. Sometimes you don't have to write it by yourself. You can adapt what others wrote. Yeah, you just code this. Yeah, but still you can get much better. I remember this site, someone also wrote a different, yeah, the box shadow makes it looks different, as you can see. Yeah, even the world, this, as you can see, there's some box shadow. Yeah, there's some box shadow. Yeah. Where are we? Yes, here. And now it's up to you also maybe to add something at the top, and you can add actually like a div, another div, and you can add here a header, and you can call it main, and you can call it a footer. Yeah, and I may just put this part to the main part. Yeah, I can just maybe I can put here the wrapper, and I could call call it header wrapper, and footer dot footer wrapper. And you remember we've been writing different codes, so we can get the codes from there. For instance, I can just take the header part, why I rewrite everything, copy, and put it here, where just try to call the header actually. Yes. And maybe I can go again and copy the footer part. If you see, we have a footer here and all the way down, copy footer. And you apply it to the footer, just replace the footer. And let's see what we have now. Yeah, it's not the same thing what we have, it's a bit different. So we have to work on this to make it look good, right? This has to go to the center, and as you can see, this has to be also at the bottom. Yeah. At the first place, maybe this everything has to fit, and the container should be maybe is the outside container. Let me see if the information is too much or too little. Yeah, okay. Even I can show you. So now, as you can see, now we have this the header. Now we can just do lots of easy ways of achieving the same thing, but we have to also plan sometimes. Just if I say header, text align, center, everything will be to the center, right? That's okay. And then I have this here, also a nav, if you remember. We have a nav, that's the UL. So we have to class name. I can give it nav menu, and I can come here and dot nav menu. After this, guys, we don't say display something. I mean the Flexbox with this inline block or something, but we use Flexbox. Yeah, I can say display flex right away. As you can see, yeah, everything is in one line, as you can see. Oh yeah. And then what we should do, and then justify content, space between or around. Around is good. As you can see, we have our content over there. Yeah, of course, we can add margin. It's just to give some space, top and bottom, 15 pixel, and then auto. We don't, so it will be. And even the header is really at the top. We can also add some header, I mean, padding and margin. Again, maybe 15 pixel and auto. Then there's space. But as you can see, this list is still having those kind of decoration. So how can we remove? Because, okay, say list text, what was list style, none. So as you can see, it's not there anymore. Okay, but now the text decoration is still like, okay, nav list, nav menu list, and inside there, the anchor. If you remember, yeah, we have UL list and then the anchor tag. So this line is because of the anchor tag. Yes, so we can select that by then text decoration, none. So Now it's so we can also increase the font size. I think 18 pixel or 20 pixel is good enough. And the text transform uppercase is good, I think. Yes, you can see we have something like this. But as you can see, it looks like a blue or something. Yeah. We should give it a color, because the anchor tags sometimes when we click it, when it's clicked or unclicked, it has a different color. So we have to give it a color. So the color is going to be color, maybe just some kind of a color. We have to fix that color, yeah, or something else. And font weight a bit bigger, for 500 or maybe 600, just to make it look a bit bolder there. Yeah, now it looks like somehow at least a minor portfolio. Yep. And again, I will just leave this for you to come up and to work, to adjust. For instance, you have this, you adjust it to the center, you do the same for the social media icons, but maybe we can just do the same for social media icons now, because it's not very much task. Let's see first, how does it looks like? Yeah, we have this footer wrapper, but we can just keep the footer to the center now. Just footer, maybe we can say text align to the center. It's just okay. Now we have everything at the center. But we can also add a background color, because background color, some gray color or something. Gray is not good, but we can change it, and we can add a padding inside, padding, maybe 30 pixel in all direction, in the top and bottom, and auto in the other direction. Why? What did I change? Why is this not changing? Padding. Okay, let's just give it then in all direction. Why it didn't change? Okay, sometimes. Okay, good. But I don't like the dark, really dark one, so I can just change it to RGB and make a bit lighter, 0.25. Some kind of, but still it's hard to see what we have there. So in font size, it affects everything. So we have to specify just this, but we have already the font size for the icons. So it's better to just get font size from this. Yeah, we've been writing codes now and then, and it doesn't make sense writing now and then. Yeah, this is actually this is related to the footer, and it's better to make use. Okay, let me just put it down and see. Oh yeah, it's because it's absolute. Let's remove the absolute position. And we don't need this app for the time being. This, we don't need this. Now we can use Flexbox this to align them horizontally, and definitely we need some kind of some background color. Maybe I think it's better to stick on one color all the time because we have been using a color somewhere. If you remember to the navs. Where are the skills? Yeah, we can make use of this color for both for the header area, even for the background, and actually just background and this. And now if we see, we may have, yeah, and instead of adding this, we should have add padding should have been much better. Yeah, as you can see. And now we may be padding, and I can say maybe 15 pixel. There's some kind of course, we didn't bring all the pages from the other, and now we have this, and now let's work on this one, okay? And we don't have to also use the full color here. We can add some opacity, for instance, this, and it may look something like this, much better. It's not too strong. And I can also just get this all the way down to the footer, and I think it would be also much better. But for some reason, and color, you can say black, very black, and maybe that make a difference. And actually this is too close. We can make this apart. How do we do that? And text align center instead display place. And it's not only that, justify content space around. And that will help us. Yeah, have you seen now? They are everywhere. It looks like just a kind of okay, good enough. I think we should stop at here. Maybe you can just work on it. Yeah, thank you so much. I have to stop the recording.